A recruitment video made by the CIA is getting obliterated, annihilated online for by all sides, basically. Now, on the left, it's being criticized for co-opting progressive messages, and on the right, they're saying it's too woke. So now let me show you the 2-minute video that was posted on April 28th, and it featured a 36-year-old Latina CIA officer who says, "Hey, this I'm cisgender millennial, and the CIA is both woke and intersectional. In fact, let me show you this 2 minutes of cringe."
When I was 17, I quoted Zora Neale Hurston's How It Feels to Be Colored Me in my college application essay. The line that spoke to me stated simply, "I am not tragically colored. There is no sorrow dammed up in my soul nor lurking behind my eyes. I do not mind at all." At 17, I had no idea what life would bring, but Zora's sentiment articulated so beautifully how I felt as a daughter of immigrants then and now. Nothing about me was or is tragic. I am perfectly made. I can wax eloquent on complex legal issues in English while also belting Guayaquil de mis amores in Spanish. I can change a diaper with one hand and console a crying toddler with the other. I am a woman of color. I am a mom. I am a cisgender millennial who's been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. I am intersectional, but my existence is not a box-checking exercise. I am a walking declaration, a woman whose inflection does not rise at the end of her sentences, suggesting that a question has been asked. I did not sneak into CIA. My employment was not and is not the result of a fluke or slip through the cracks. I earned my way in, and I earned my way up the ranks of this organization. I am educated, qualified, and competent, and sometimes I struggle. I struggle feeling like I could do more, be more to my 2 sons, and I struggle leaving the office when I feel there's so much more to do. I used to struggle with imposter syndrome, but at 36, I refuse to internalize misguided patriarchal ideas of what a woman can or should be. I am tired of feeling like I'm supposed to apologize for the space I occupy rather than intoxicate people with my effort, my brilliance. I am proud of me, full stop. My parents left everything they knew and loved to expose me to opportunities they never had. Because of them, I stand here today a proud first-generation Latina and officer at CIA. I am unapologetically me. I want you to be unapologetically you, whoever you are. Know your worth. Command your space.
My God. Okay. Hey, everybody. Look at that. The CIA is woke now. They're woke. Congratulations, everybody. We did it. We got rid of the racisms. Despite that the CIA, of course, is black site torture in, places that are outside of the US. But hey, it's intersectional black site torture now. They did the meme, everybody. They did the meme. They memed it. They didn't realize that we were being ironic. Memed. More female torturers. Oh God. Okay. So I love how she talks about, oh, this isn't about checking off boxes, except that everything that she says, loads of boxes that I'm cisgender millennial, check. I'm cisgender. I'm a Latina, and I speak Spanish, and check mark. Who is this supposed to appeal to? Who is it supposed to make us? What is it supposed to appeal to progressives? No. Is this supposed to appeal to, well, obviously not conservatives, duh. Liberals? What the? Okay. Here's the thing. I'm sorry, but this is not going to make us support one of the most anti-democratic and violent forces in the history of our country. Okay? Because, hey, guess what? If you're looking at progressives, you're looking at most people who know anything about the CIA, it's not going to work. Okay? Unless, of course, again, you're pandering just to libs that only care about id pull, when not actually supporting groups and causes and policies that might actually help people of color and people in other countries. I mean, that's what this feels like. And to remind you, the CIA, this is very important. The CIA is not your friend. They're not. They're not your friend. I'm just saying. In fact, if you're a leftist, the CIA is definitely not your friend. They have overthrown pretty much any leftist government in our sphere of influence. For example, the CIA, with the encouragement of Henry Kissinger back in the 70s, supported a military coup that overthrew the elected government of President Salvador Allende, that is a democratic socialist. Now, democratic socialists are basically, you're like your Bernie Sanders type of politician, a little bit left of that. You're maybe your typical Nordic politician, leftist politician. The resulting regime turned into a right-wing regime that was led by Pinochet. So under his leadership, they disappeared more than 3,000 dissidents and journalists and tortured at least 30,000 others for basically being political dissidents, for not being right-wing enough. The CIA also orchestrated or directly sponsored similar anti-democratic campaigns in Iran, Guatemala, the Congo, many other countries, in most or all cases leading to regimes that are massively right-wing, that support torture, human rights violations, and police state tactics. But hey, now we have Latinas working there with general anxiety disorder, and so I guess all of that is totally okay now. Hey, but forget about the torture. Forget about right-wing violent regimes. No, it's fine. Totally fine. But we're not done. The late Chalmers Johnson, a former CIA analyst, by the way, so he worked in the belly of the beast, who became a historian at the University of California, Berkeley, had popularized a term called blowback. Now, I think all of us pretty much know what that means. In a series of books describing how American imperialism, supported by the CIA, and especially the CIA's subversion of popular movements and freely elected leaders, creates hostility towards the United States and ends up leading to terrorist attacks. So, yeah, if you're on the left at all, anywhere around, especially somewhere outside of the United States, because really the FBI goes after the left wing within the United States. Outside of the United States, well, they're not your friend. They're not your friend. No matter how much progressive language the CIA tries to co-op in order to seem cool and woke and, wonderful, okay? They're not. As some progressives pointed out, they are co-opting what is supposed to be emancipatory language in order to enact mass murder and torture. Again, remember the CIA black sites at Abu Ghraib during the Iraq War. And what we did, by the way, in Iraq with our regime change. So it wasn't just 50 years ago. Iraq and Afghanistan, again, literal death squads in Afghanistan. So, not your friends. So more progressives spoke out about this. The CIA and central agents, the agency central to undermining of any capitalist, anti-capitalist movement across the world for a century, just adopted woke posturing in an ad because those ideas are hegemonic. It turns out everybody likes the ideas of inclusion, or most people, unless you're conservative, likes the idea of inclusion, except, again, what we're looking at is an organization that is broken, that is basically nothing more than an imperialist front for corporations. Adam Johnson points out the CIA cynically uses the language of democracy, resistance, education, anti-extractivism, and dozens of other lefty concepts Two, it doesn't mean they're all tainted and need to be abandoned, and that's a good point to remember. Indeed, co-opting otherwise useful political currents to push empire is kind of their thing. And so that's what they're doing. It's the natural consequence of those ideas, progressive ideas, really being mainstreamed. And again, we see this in corporations. That's also pretty cynical. They're looking for customers. And what the CIA is doing by this video is looking for recruits. Of course they are. The Serfs, friend of the show, pointed out the CIA isn't woke because suddenly marginalized people hold more power in society because you're a market. True. Yet interestingly enough, progressive take is the CIA, as I mentioned, they're trying to co-opt our message to recruit us into U.S. imperialism. The right-wing take is far more interesting. Here's what they're saying. Torture good, woke bad. It can be all distilled into that, basically. In fact, here's Michael Tracy in his garbage take. Quote, the argument will of course be made that the CIA is only espousing woke ideology as a cynical ploy, not because the ideology actually serves to entrench the CIA's power. Just like every other corporation and hegemonic cultural political institution, all just one big coincidence. So wait, somehow being inclusive, quote unquote woke, that helps the CIA? What kind of garbage reactionary bullshit is that? Wow. Michael Tracy, garbage. Tom Morello replied to that, by the way, by saying, silly me, I thought the CIA was evil because of their 70 years of war crimes, assassinating heads of state, torture, and crushing people's movements around the globe. It turns out the real problem was a woke pamphlet. I love it. So this video, again, got a lot of hate for different reasons. Again, the right, so in the right wing, again, they focus on the woke stuff, right? Without having any criticism of what the CIA has actually done. You know, the aforementioned war crimes and crushing of lefty movements, they love all that stuff. The only thing that they don't like now is, oh, how dare you be inclusive. As another person says on Twitter, imagine seeing that terrible CIA ad and being like, wokeness sucks, instead of being like, the CIA sucks. Yeah. Nailed it. So now I'm going to give you my own hot take, all right? So I think you've heard right-wingers, go woke, go broke. Well, you know what? In this case, if this actually works, and they do go broke, which would be great, I wouldn't mind. I'm on board for it. You know why? Because we should all say no to imperialism in any form. Chinese imperialism, Russian imperialism, American imperialism. Say no to imperialism, folks. Bad. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.